All right, welcome in. Hello, welcome to the inaugural episode, the first published episode of the 60 Feet 6 Inches podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Chris Demui, so I will be your host on this journey. So, just kind of a brief introduction, a little background, and let you know why I'm doing this podcast and this channel, and just one of the reasons why I started it. I played baseball at LSU from 95 to 98. Then I played a little bit of pro ball after that with the Angels and some independent baseballs, and realized I needed to get a job and I wasn't good enough to play anymore. So they basically fired me, and I said, well, let's see what else I can do. But still live here in Baton Rouge, season ticket holder for years at LSU, and don't get a chance to make it out too many games anymore with regards to work or fatherhood or things going on at the house. But I figured I'm at that point in my life to where my kids are grown. I feel like I can give back, learn some knowledge about what's going on with the baseball program and the new coach. Not that I necessarily have any inside information. I watch the game just like everybody else. Hopefully, he's tuning into this first published podcast and YouTube channel viewing, and maybe give you a little bit of peek behind the curtain. Having played for Skip, some of the things that he taught us, what I see from a fan's perspective, trying to get in the mind of Coach Johnson and some of those players out there. And my goal is to publish something after the weekday games, and then possibly a preview into the SEC series, and then post something as well at the end of the SEC series. SEC series, excuse me. So obviously hit the like button, subscribe as well. The channel is very raw. It's going to continue to get better and better. I want to remain consistent with this thing. I have not got the Twitters for this channel specifically up and running as of yet. I want to make sure I choose the right name so it's easy to find. But in the meantime, feel free to hit me up on my personal Twitter. It is at CDemouy. That is CDemouy. And please leave comments, good, bad, indifferent, and what's wrong with another athlete, former athlete, just doing another podcast like we haven't seen that before, right? Everybody's dipping their toe in the water, so I'm just going to jump in both feet first, and we'll see how that goes. So tonight, LSU played ULM, so coming off a 15-4 victory. To me, I did a private one. I'll publish that on the Florida series as well, just to get that out there. It's pretty rough, but just to give people some of the thoughts I had on the Florida series. To me, I think these midweek games are either a get right or stay right game, especially against ULM. And looking at their record and some of the people, obviously they didn't toss out their best pitchers tonight, but just some of the people in their lineup, I would say they're probably one of the weaker in-state teams. That just goes looking at their record. They're 14-1 now with a tie. They do play in a relatively tough conference with Coastal Carolina, who's won a College World Series, Texas State, who had a great series with Texas recently, and I think Texas State is ranked now. Obviously, you have ULL in there in the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt. But in terms of in-state teams, you have Louisiana Tech. I think that's obviously better than them, and Nicholls, Southeastern, Tulane. So they're definitely on the lower end of scale. So to me, coming after the Florida series, which is a great showing on the weekend by LSU, going and taking 2 out of 3 on the road at Florida, which is a historically tough place to play. They haven't lost a home SEC series since 2019. I think what you saw tonight was really from LSU was a complete game. So each and every podcast or show that I do, I really just want to keep it relatively short, but I want to concentrate on 3 big things. So coming away from the weekend, the biggest things I thought were the pitchers finding some consistency and some people stepping up within that rotation. Also, you had the hitters, especially in the Saturday and Sunday game. Those guys were swinging free and easy. A lot of balls flying out the yard, but you see people getting multiple hits and kind of getting back on track. And then the third, I think some people may put that above either first or second, but the third thing for me was the defense. So coming into tonight's game, it's not always going to be the same thing. It may be individuals I focus on, but tonight I predicted that Floyd would start, then Helmers, then some combination of Reiselman, Riley Cooper, and Fontenot getting an inning. And then, unbeknownst to me, until the game started, Coach Jay Johnson really went the other way. So I was a little wrong on that, but I got most of the pitchers correct. So I really wanted to see if we knew it was probably going to be a bullpen game. Obviously, multiple pitchers trotting out there getting 1 to 2 innings at max. I thought somebody may get 3, like if Floyd started, they may roll him out there for 3. But with the SEC series this weekend against Missouri, starting on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They had to be very careful with regards to pitch counts and letting guys get too deep into the game or multiple innings. And I'm sure everybody was kind of kept on a short leash. And some of those guys didn't pitch on the weekend. Fontenot didn't pitch on the weekend. Cooper didn't pitch on the weekend. Razelman didn't pitch on the weekend. So those guys needed to get some touch and feel back and just get back on the game in a competitive environment. And I saw really good things out of those guys tonight. With regards, I'll get into that later. I'll kind of go by inning very briefly, just some things that stood out. Also, with regards to the hitting, could those guys that were hot stay hot? And holy crap, Brayden Jobert is freaking on fire right now. So obviously, I listened to the broadcast on the ESPN Plus with my man Ronnie Rant. So Jobert had 3 home runs over the weekend versus Florida, and then tonight he hit 2 more bombs. So that guy is absolutely on fire. Right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter. His swing is just straight up pure, and he is seeing beach balls up there, which is good things for LSU right now. That really just lengthens that lineup. You already have to go through Doty, Morgan, Cruz, Barry. Dugas is going to be solid. I think we really know what to expect from him, or at least I do. I have a lot of faith in Dugas. He's been there, done that. He's a true program player. And then Thompson, he's definitely coming around, showing some more pop. And then with Jobert, that's 7 dudes that can just absolutely crush balls, find the barrel the majority of the time, and make life miserable for the opposing pitchers. And lastly, the defense. The defense has been an issue for LSU all year. They really weren't tested tonight. The pitchers did a very good job. A lot of punch outs on the mound, but Coach Johnson kept Doty at short, kept Thompson at second, and the only really big change we saw was with Hayden Travinski behind the plate. So he had a good weekend. And once I saw him in the starting lineup, I just wanted to see what kind of at bats he could produce. Could he produce consistently good at bats? Not just, I think he was 3 for 14 on the year coming into the game, with 2 of those hits being bombs this past weekend at Florida, then his other hit being a double. So, what kind of at bats could he produce at the bottom of the lineup to really turn that lineup over and get the studs at the top of the order, more ABs with runners on base? So, I have some couple thoughts on Devin Fontenot. One of the things, just really to let y'all know, is that obviously he started the first. He only went 1 inning, and coming into the night, he had an ERA of 1.98. So I didn't realize it was that low. But I thought his body language looked a little off from the beginning of the game, and I'm very curious to hear what Jay Johnson's plan was with Fontenot. Did they really want him to go more than 1 inning, or once they saw he maybe ran his pitch count up and I think right around 20 after the first inning, did they decide, well, let's just make a move to Vittmeyer now? I just want to know what the plan was all along, and I'm sure we'll find that out tomorrow. I'm recording this right after the game has ended. So, and just to kind of give y'all some background, I think Fontenot to me looked very relaxed, and he is so used to being a reliever, being thrust into that starting role really takes on a life of itself. And this is what I mean. As a reliever, you get there with everybody else, you shag BP, you throw, you go back in the clubhouse, you take your time, you come back out. You know you're not going to pitch till the end of the game. So it's just really a big waiting game. It's a process being a reliever, and he's used to that routine. He knows that when they say, "Hey, Devin, get up. We're going to get you hot, or you're going to have the eighth." He knows how many pitches it takes to get him loose. He knows what his bullpen routine is before he goes into, in this example, say the eighth. But being a starter, it is completely different. And to me, that's not something to be overlooked, because I thought that kind of carried into his first inning. You get to the ballpark later. You can show up at 5:30. And to y'all that might not be that big of a deal, but for somebody like Fontenot who's been relieving for so long, it's a little change of pace. Then he's going to long toss before the game, and he's really not used to that. How then? What is his pregame bullpen routine like? Before he's getting loose just to get loose, and if he has to come in and get out of a jam, or he's going to start the ninth, it's a pressure packed situation. Typically, in the situations he's been in throughout his career. So now it's like, do I just throw 30 pitches to get loose? Do I go a little longer? And I'm sure Jason Kelly and the pitching coach and the rest of the staff said, no, you're either going to go 2, we want 2 out of you, or you're just going to go 1. But I assume if they told Fontenot you're only going to go one, to me, I would have treated it like I was closing the ninth. Even though you're just starting, you're the starter, and we've all seen how Major League Baseball has its openers now. If I was Fontenot, if I know I'm only going one inning, I'm just blowing and going. Everything, leave it all on the field, throwing everything as hard as I can. Um, just trying to get through that inning clean as possible, get my work in, kind of max effort, just like what I do in the eighth or ninth. Um, and then from there, he's going to sit down, put a jacket on, and watch the rest of the game. So to me, it almost looked like he was planning on going. From his body language, he just seemed very relaxed. You see a lot of times starters are just, they're very chill. They know they have to pace themselves. They don't get overly excited or overly amped up at the beginning of the game because they know I'm going to plan on being out here for 6, 7 games. A lot of these starters, when you say like how long do you want to go, they don't want to give the ball up. They plan on going 9 every time they get the ball. But Fano just looks so relaxed. And then when Holt hit that leadoff bomb, I think he was like, "Holy crap! God damn it! That's nobody wants that to happen, right?" But my theory is solo shots will never kill you. So he just looked like his velo was down a little bit. He was almost pacing himself to me. Uh, I don't know one way or the other what his plan was, what his mindset, but just coming through the broadcast, and I have been there before. It just looked like he was like setting himself up. I got to pace myself because I'm going to go 2 or 3. And then Johnson had a very early visit, and maybe got his head right, and maybe said, "Look, we need you to go out here with a little bit more fire." And you saw him pick it up a little more. So it was interesting. I can't wait to hear the comments with regards to what Coach Johnson says if somebody asks him what the plan was with Fontenot. And I also wonder if beforehand, in the offseason, they talked about Fontenot potentially being a starter, and that was kind of the pull for him coming back to LSU. And I wonder if he thought this was his chance or his audition to be a starter. And to me, I'll be 100% honest. I think he stays to the back end of the bullpen if you want to start him midweek, just to get him some innings early in the game when there's some pressure, when there's people runners on base, so you want him to start innings so he gets his work early. So as he's not coming in the ninth when the score is already 15-4, and in his mind he knows the game's already over, and you really let your guard down as a reliever. It's not as pressure packed situation. You don't have any drilling going. I can see that. Skip did that a lot of times with the relievers through midweek games. He would start you for 2 or 3 innings and pull you just to make sure you got some work in if you didn't throw in the weekend. So I'll be very curious. But I think for Fontenot, he hangs a slider in the first. The guy for ULM, really the only guy who hurt LSU tonight, Mason Holt, I believe his name was, hit the bomb. Then he walks the next guy on a 3-2 pitch. He just couldn't put him away. Then you see, a diving stop by Barry, but then he got up to try to get the out at second, but Thompson couldn't handle the throw. And then as an LSU fan, you're thinking, "Oh crap, here we go again. Here's the defensive woes showing up." But then, Johnson makes the visit. Fontenot kind of gets his head right. He gets a fly out. Dugas makes a nice saving, sliding catch, and then Fontenot goes boom, boom, strikeout, strikeout. So one of the things to let y'all in on, it is really tough being a starting pitcher. And you may hear Ben McDonald refer to this sometimes, or Ronnie Rance refer to this if he's on the broadcast. And then obviously with Doug Thompson on the radio side, is that the first inning is really difficult. And there's really a couple reasons why. One, you're facing the other team's best hitters. You got to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, or however many it goes, but you're facing those guys right off the bat. Two, regardless of how well you felt in the bullpen, taking that to the game mound is still a little bit of a different feel. The bullpen mound is not the same as the game mound, so you still have to get adjusted. I know you have 8 warm-up pitches, but once that batter steps in the box, you're still a little unsure on your release point and how things are going to come out. So you have that to deal with. And then lastly, you have the umpire zone because obviously nobody knows what it is. So the majority of the time, the zone will start small, and then it'll get bigger throughout the game. And then lo and behold, you hear people talk about how the umps squeezing them at the end of the game. It seems to get tighter in the eighth or ninth. It feels like they really make you earn that win or that save. Unfortunately, when you need to be bigger. As a pitcher, I always wanted it bigger at the end of the game. I need all the help I could get. So just some things to watch out for this weekend on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's important for each starter to to really have a clean first inning. But those are kind of some of the things they're fighting against right there. Small umpire zone, getting used to their release point in the game mound, and then the best hitters. So hopefully y'all can watch that with me as well. Just a little food for thought there. So he gets out of that 1-0. And so I really wanted to see how the hitters would respond. They were hot Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes in the midweek game, there can be a letdown. You really don't know who you're facing. Obviously, they have a scouting report, but who knows how accurate it is. And as you saw tonight with the ULM pitchers, they were throwing out guys who had 2 or 3 appearances all year, who had ERAs. One guy had a 27 with not a lot of innings pitched. So there's really not a big book on these guys. But Doty leads off with a single. Then Morgan hits a piss missile. He lines out to right. He had a tough night. He hit the ball hard a lot. He even hit one off the pitcher's back. I mean, Trey Morgan cannot catch a break tonight. But then the interesting thing was Cruz gets jammed, hits a ball to shortstop. Shortstop's going to go 6-4-3 double play. The ball goes through his legs, and then the inning just flips on itself. Because if they turn 2 right there, I mean, who knows? LSU probably still wins the game. I'm sure they do. But then you got, after the error, Barry hits a single through the 4-hole for an RBI. Thompson walks, and then Jobert starts his night off right. Bases loaded, double for 3 RBIs. Then Dugas, boom, follows that right back up with a double. Gio goes 6-3 on a ground out to short. And then the person as I talked in the beginning, Travinsky, had a really, really good AB in the first with 2 outs. He fouled off 4 or 5 pitches. He stayed alive. You could tell he changed his approach. He just wasn't swinging for the fences. And then he gets a 2-out RBI hit. So to me, if I'm Coach Johnson, that's something I see in the first, to where you always want 2-out hits. But with Travinsky just hitting 2 bombs in Florida, you really want to see how he's going to react. And he battled and he battled and he found a pitch that he could handle and gets a 2-out RBI hit. And then LSU's off and running already. And it was interesting to see then in the second they bring in Ventmeyer. I think with Trent, everybody knows. I mean, if you've been watching LSU the past couple of years, you know what he's going to bring to the table. He's 88 to 90. He's got a very good cutter that he throws a lot, cutter slider. And then tonight he featured a changeup a little bit. And I think with him, I think he's been there, done that. You can trust him. But to me, he's a bridge guy, get out of a jam guy, say 2 outs, men on first and second. You need a ground ball or somebody's not going to get rattled. He's that guy you go to. And that's what I see him as. No more than a max 2 inning guy. But I thought he started off really well this year. And he's had some tough luck, I believe, over the past couple of years. So it's good to see him as a senior really stepping up, owning his role, and really doing a good job succeeding this year. Bottom 2-0. The third, Ventmeyer comes out again. Scoreless inning for him, which is great. And then in the third, Dugas hits a solo bomb. And I think Dugas, to me, I really like him. To me, he is a typical, Skip used to call like a program player. That's where that's what a lot of guys from Louisiana are, from Baton Rouge are, where they're talented coming in, but they really develop within the program. They gain more and more confidence year over year. They perform or take on a bigger role year over year. And I think with Dugas, he's just steady Eddie. He's going to hit 290 to 310. He's going to hit 10, 12 bombs. He's going to get hit by pitch like he did numerous times this weekend at Florida. He's going to play hard. He's kind of the epitome of a Louisiana guy, right? He's from Houma. I just really like him. I like his approach. I like everything about him. And I think he may have started off the season a little slow early on, but I think he's really come around right now, and he's just going to produce. And it was good to see him. He hits a solo bomb. And then after that, we go into the fourth. And I was surprised. So my pitching predictions are off, but Cale Lansville came in with the freshman, and he hasn't pitched in a while. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard with regards to how the game speeds up. I thought tonight was really a perfect indication. If you watched Lansville pitch, I thought the game really sped up on him. I mean, he throws relatively hard, and the started off was when they had the bunt single on him, and it wasn't a great PFP. Rance did a great job of explaining it on the broadcast. He went over to pick it up. He picked up with his glove and he had transferred to the hand. The guy was flying down the line, so the guy beat it out. But then you saw the game speed up. So they go bunt single, boom, next pitch, error on the pickoff throw. That guy goes to second base. Then he jams the guy. Doty has a tough play on a high chopper. It's short. I didn't think anybody was going to throw him out. And then all of a sudden, he has the next batter with two strikes on him, and they just can't get him out. And then he hangs a curveball to Holt, and Holt hits his second home run of the night. So in that instance, you saw a bunt single, bad pickoff throw. Tough hopper to Doty, can't make the play. Just, you need somebody to make a play for you right there. It was just a tough play, period. Then all of a sudden you're battling, you hang a curveball to their best hitter, and all of a sudden you get, they've scored 3 runs and it's 7-4. So just like that with a freshman, you really see it kind of roll out of control to where maybe some of the older guys like a Fontenot or Ventmeyer, they would be able to control that or make it a little bit better of a pitch to get themselves out of that jam. So that's something else I really watch with the young guys to see if things speed up on them very quickly, and all of a sudden it's single, error, walk, and now they're behind 3-0, and they walk, and the pin's not ready, and all of a sudden it's 2-0, and it's doubling the gap, and you're like, crap. That went from 1 run maybe to now it's 4 runs. So that's just something I really keep an eye on. Then from there, I thought in the 5th, Riley Cooper came in, and so Cooper pitched 5-6, and then Reselman pitched 7-8. And this will be the last I'll talk about the pitching, but I thought those two guys were huge tonight. The score was a little bit out of control, but I thought Cooper's just kind of been up and down. So I wanted to see how his stats at Arizona compared to where he is this year at LSU, since he did transfer over with Jay Johnson from Arizona. So last year at Arizona, he had 29 appearances, 31 and a third innings pitched. So a true definition of a lefty specialist, really. He had a 4.88 ERA and a 234 batting average against. So when you compare that to this year, so far for LSU, 10 appearances, 11 and a third innings pitched. So really on that same track as he was last year at Arizona. So Jason Kelly and those guys are using him pretty much in the same fashion. His ERA is a 4.76, almost dead on, kind of a microcosm of last year. But in 11 and a third innings, he has given up 15 hits. And I think Cooper, I saw him pitch a little bit last year in the Super Regionals against Ole Miss while he was at Arizona. I was just checking out random games and watching Bianco's team play. I think he could be a huge piece moving forward because I know he can pitch back-to-back days, or if he goes on a Friday in a typical SEC series, he can come back on a Sunday. He can give you 1 and a third on a Friday, come back and give you whatever you need on a Sunday. But he's kind of got that rubber arm. But the biggest thing with me tonight was his velocity. He was really sitting at 88 to 92, but he really, especially in his second inning, he sat at 92, and you saw him get the ball down in the zone. And that's a big theme for all these pitchers. Look, and you saw ULM tonight. Everybody throws 90 to 93. Everybody. ULM's got them. LSU's got them. Auburn's got them. La Tech's got them. They're all throw 90 to 93. But with the biggest thing is, does it move? And can you keep it down in the zone and not fall behind? 3-0 to where 93, 3-1, 93 is now getting hit out the yard. Look, if the dude from Tennessee throws 104 and Elko from Ole Miss took him yard this weekend, it's safe to say anybody in college baseball can get hit. I don't care how hard you throw. So you better have another pitch for a strike, and you better get that damn fastball down in the zone and try to stay ahead as best you can. Now look, I got lit up. I gave up grand slams, 3-run home runs, whatever you name it. Sometimes I didn't even get an out. So I've been there. I'm not saying I'm better than these guys, but everybody just throws hard now, and these guys are just used to seeing it. So back in the day, everybody threw 88 to 90. Now everybody throws 90, 93 on the low side. But I thought Cooper was really impressive so far. Tonight he was. So in the 6th, I had his velocity up to 92, 93. I liked how he started busting righties in more to finish them off with two strikes. I think from a pitching approach, a lot of times if I'm a right-handed batter facing a left-handed pitcher, you're so focused on middle away that you're sitting fastball middle away and middle away. And when you get two strikes and a lefty busts you in on the corner, it is a great pitch. You'll see guys take it. You'll see guys try to jump out the way because they're not expecting it. So for him moving forward, I love it. His breaking balls, it's good. It's kind of a slurve slider. He throws from a 3/4 arm slot. So I would even like to see him start that middle and break that in kind of underneath the hitter's hands. But to me, I thought you saw not necessarily fire out of him, but he had something behind his pitches tonight where he said, "Damn it, I'm tired of just kind of floundering around. It's time for me to step up. I'm new. I'm used to the SEC now. Haven't been great, but I got to pick it up if I want to keep pitching. I didn't pitch last weekend at Florida, and that sucks. So I want to make sure I showed them tonight I'm ready to pitch against Auburn." And I thought he looked great. Then from there, I mean, he shut the door 2 innings, really good 2 innings by him. And then Jobert comes up in the bottom of six, leadoff bomb, makes it 8-4. Uh, and then you got Dugas walk. Gio, he still hasn't got it going. He's still struggling a little bit, I think. But he got hit by a pitch. Shocker. LSU getting hit by a pitch. Then Travinsky with a sack bunt out of nowhere. Look, sometimes in these midweek games, coaches want to work on certain situations, work on certain things. And hey, if Travinsky can lay down a bunt to roll the lineup back over to Doty and get those guys in scoring position, we'll take it. So we go sack fly by Doty, scores a run that makes it 9-4, heading into the top of the seventh, and then you see the El Fuego come in, freaking Razelman. And it was good to see him. Everybody knows he throws hard. He throws hard. But I think with him, it's just, I mean, his numbers look good, but lately it's just a little bit of consistency has been lacking. So you saw with him, I mean, hell, shit, he bumped 99 tonight. So in the seventh, he was 96 to 80. No, excuse me. 96 to 98. Bumped 99. So if you didn't see it, I'm telling you right now. 99 flashed on the gun. But the biggest thing with him was he kept the ball down. A lot of times he has a tendency to fly off to the first base side or his arm will lay back and the ball gets elevated, which is great because it's tough to catch up right here when you have two strikes. I mean, nobody's going to really hit 96 at their eyes unless you're in the show. But it doesn't do any good when one O's up here, two O's up here, three O's up here. So tonight, you really saw him get on top of the ball. I thought Travinsky and then McManus came in. They did a really good job of showing him a big target down by the knees so that he could focus in on. And I like the fact that he challenged people and that he got the ball down in the zone. So I thought his 2 innings were great. I was a little not concerned. Listen, he went from 96 to 98, and in the eighth he was 92 to 96. So there's a little bit of drop in velocity, but when he came back from the eighth, you saw him finally throw a couple breaking balls in there for some strikes, and he got 2 outs with his breaking ball. And just as Ronnie Rance said on the broadcast, and I mentioned earlier, I don't care how hard you throw, like Razelman's going to need to show that breaking ball during SEC competition, or else dudes are just going to try to barrel up his fastball. And eventually they'll foul it off and get their timing down, just like our hitters would on a guy who's throwing strictly fastballs as well. So I thought he did a great job. So back to my one big thing, I thought the pitching was excellent tonight. Two, the hitters who were hot stayed hot, and you know they got right and stayed right. That was their game for them tonight, all throughout the order. Even if guys like Trey Morgan, he may not have had a ton of hits this year. I don't even think he had a hit, but he crushed 2 balls, a missile to the right fielder, a missile off the pitcher's back that went to the first baseman. So I know he's not going to be happy, but he's still in the end, he's still barreling balls up. Barry and Cruz did what they had to do, and then Jobert was obviously the star of the show. I mean, Jobert comes in the seventh and hits a freaking 3-run home run, bro. He's had 5 home runs in his last 3 games. 5. He is pissing on balls, freaking beach balls, and they're not just squeakers. He's crushing balls. Then from there, look, I mean, it was out of control. It was good to see Floyd come in and have a clean inning in the ninth. I stayed around to watch all the way to the end, but I thought he was going to start the game. But I mean, he was throwing hard, and by then everybody just wants to go home. But Jobert with 7 RBIs on the night, so great job, young man. And that's really it. I think the three questions I had coming in: the pitching, the relievers got good innings, and some guys got right. You saw Vetmeyer continue his confidence and hot streak. Cooper and Raiselman threw really well tonight, pounded the zone, showed off speed pitches. I thought they did a lot for their confidence. They should feel really good, and also to show Jason Kelly and Jay Johnson that they're ready to step up. And I'm sure they're going to get their chance against Auburn this weekend. So hopefully they can continue it. And then from the hitters, look, if I'm in that Auburn coach's room, and Auburn lost tonight to Jacksonville State, so they're coming in a little down. I do not want to face any of these hitters right now. So especially in the box, and the weather should be great. Those guys are just they're rolling, and that lineup is 1 through 7 or 8. Now people are going to have bad weekends. Somebody may be off, but still, there is no let up in the lineup. And as a pitcher, when you get down to 7, 8, and 9, and you still see Dugas coming up, or Jobert or Thompson, and then Travinsky, if you have those three guys coming up, or the Giacomos, he's a little down, but he can still run. And you're like, God damn it. Like, I can't catch a break out here. Because then if you make a mistake to one of those guys, then you got to face Doty, Cruz, and Morgan. Bro, it's good. They're in a good spot right now, and I think they have a chance to really make some hay against Auburn this weekend. The goal for every weekend, I said it on the first 60 feet 6 inches pod, and I'll release that tonight. But the goal, obviously, you want to win every game, but let's be realistic. The goal in conference is to win 2 out of 3 games. If you can finish 20-10 in this conference, you're setting yourself up for a really good regional and/or a top 8 seed. Bottom line. Now, it's not going to happen, and you have the chance to sweep sometimes. But as the old saying goes, baby, you can't sweep without winning on Friday, or in this case, Thursday. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. That's it. That's my recap. That's what I saw from tonight. I will try to give I don't know if I'll be able to give a Missouri preview, but I'll be here Saturday or posting on Sunday. So hopefully the Tigers take care of business this weekend at the box. Now I think I got some exciting things planned for this old 60 feet 6 inches podcast. Potential live streaming. Hooking up with some other digital media companies. That would be the goal. Sponsors. That would be great. But any comments you have, like it. I'm not gonna subscribe. Just let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll put the link out on Twitter. I am at CDEMOUY right now. And just let me know what you think. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully I gave you a little something different. Then there's a lot of knowledgeable people around town that do this, and they do a very good job. I just want to jump on and maybe a little different peek behind the curtain, in just my opinion. Because to be honest, I'm an alumnus there, but I'm a fan now. So I watch the game, get mad and get happy just like y'all do. But everybody stay safe, and thanks for tuning in. See y'all later.